All right. We look good. We look good. I tweaked a few settings this week. I don't know if it made any difference, but if my audio is better, if my video is smoother, please let me know. This is a never-ending project of tweaking things, trying to please the YouTube gods to make sure that my stream is clean. It seems like it's working pretty well though, so I am excited. Hey everyone, this is Gear Talk episode 52. Is it 52? I think it's 53. Is it 53? I think I wrote 52, but it's actually 53. I hope everyone is having a great Wednesday night. I know that I am. It's been a very busy week. It was a very busy month so far. This is the 8th of July, so we're just getting super hot here in North Carolina. I was able to skate this weekend, which was a lot of fun, but it was a bit of a heat mess. I wasn't enjoying that part of it. The stuff in North Carolina, we get a lot of rain, and we get a lot of this muggy, like humid weather, and it's just the worst to go skating. It really just, you come out of it drenched, at least I do after, 20 minutes of skating or whatever. So that is not fun. But what I did have fun with is skating the new USD Carbons, which I hope to get to in a little bit. It doesn't look like the chat is working right yet. Maybe it is working. Maybe it's a little delayed. I just see a couple people chatting. There's 20-some people in the live stream, but for whatever reason, there's no chat. So, okay, it looks like it's working now. These YouTube people, they're always making changes. You never know what to expect. But I am here. So thank you all so much. I think it's episode 52. It might be episode 53. I honestly don't know. But it is Gear Talk. Gear Talk is the show that I do every other Wednesday where I talk about the geekier side of rollerblading. We like to talk about things like carbon and sole plates and heel shock absorbers and difference in weights and grams. Who talks about weights and grams in the US? Well, this is why we come to Gear Talk. If you're interested in that sort of thing, I do this every other Wednesday live on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern. It is a lot of fun. If you can join us live, that would be great. We have a lot of great people in the chat chatting about stuff that I make mistakes about or asking questions of the other people in there. They are much smarter than I am. A lot of them have a lot of experience and know a lot of things about these skates that I don't even know. So I always love to read the chat after and see if there's anything that I can learn or anything that I can research a little bit that I might have messed up in the show. If you have a question, if you are in the chat, I encourage questions. Please ask away. I make sure to save a lot of time for questions. So if you do have a question, please make sure that you tag back to blading in the question. Leave a question in the live stream and I will be sure to read it. Anything having to do with skating, if it's a part question, if it's a wheel question, boot question, skate recommendations, I love stuff like that. I love learning more about what people are up to out there and seeing if I can help. Ultimately, I am here to help you get into skating. And I think that skating, for me, when I got back into it, was that thing that was missing in my life. And if I can help you get back into it, if I can educate you and make sure that you have a more enjoyable session whenever you get a chance to go out and skate. I know that we don't have the time like we used to. Back in the days, we would get out of school and we would just skate for the rest of the day. Now we've got a job and we've got responsibilities and we've got kids and we've got food that we need to cook for ourselves. And it's this whole thing. Doesn't leave us a lot of time for skating. So I want to make sure that when you go out there, you're not fighting the equipment. You are out there having a great time. You are enjoying the skate park, the ledge, the trail, the mini ramp, whatever you're skating. I want to make sure that you have the best time doing it. Before I get started, every week I like to talk about the Helmet Initiative. So I have worked with the helmetinitiative.org to give away helmets. And I have a lot of helmets that I've been trying to give away. I have 2 helmets for this week. Every week on Gear Talk, every episode on Gear Talk, I give away helmets. I have more helmets than I know what to do with. I expected to give them away faster, but I did not. So I'd like to get rid of these helmets. I've got like a dozen left. So if you need a helmet, I talk about equipment a lot, about how to tune up your skates, how to make your wheels perfect for you, what wheel profile to use, what durometer to use for whatever situation, and what sort of skater you are. I don't talk a lot about helmets, but it's kind of a given that if you're out there skating with wheels on your feet, you should probably be wearing a helmet. Every time you put wheels on your feet, you should put a helmet on your head. And it's not too hard to do. You just put it on your head. You don't think about it, put it on your head, clip, and you're done. And the beauty is that after you skate for like 5 minutes, you forget that the helmet's there. And if you fall down, if you weren't wearing a helmet, you won't remember that you weren't wearing a helmet. It's very important that you're wearing a helmet if you hit your head. And I want to make sure that everybody out there has access to a helmet. I am giving away 2 helmets this week. So if you are one of those people, if you are looking for a helmet, please go into the video, not into the live stream chat, but into the comments in the video and say, I need a helmet. I will be giving away 2 helmets for this week. If you left a comment last time, I'm going in tonight after this. I forgot again. I'm going in tonight after this episode, and I'm going to be leaving a comment on somebody's comment at random and say, hey, you won. Here's a link to fill out to get information about your helmet. It's important to me. I want to make sure that more people are wearing helmets. I want to make sure that me wearing a helmet, I'm not the only person out there wearing a helmet. I've seen a huge uptick in people wearing helmets over the last few months. I'm not taking credit for that. I think there is a huge movement of people wearing helmets, but I think that you should be part of that movement. You should be one of those people. If you care enough to watch an hour of an old dude talking about skate stuff, you should care enough to protect your head so that you can continue to watch this stuff, so that you can continue to skate. If you can't afford a helmet right now, leave a comment in this video. I'm going to be giving away 2 helmets this week. Huge thanks to the helmetinitiative.org for supplying these helmets. I'm getting rid of them as soon as I can. Honest, I'm doing my best. But I will be leaving a comment. I'm going to pick 2 people at random. Thank you all so much for the support, and I hope that everybody wears their helmet. All right, so to get into it, this week we're talking about skates. So I did not do any big wheel skating. I am planning on doing some big wheel skating this weekend, but last week I only had 1 day to skate, and I wanted to skate my USD Carbons. The reason is I had so much fun in my first impressions video that I had to go back and I had to say, is this a fluke? These skates performed so well in the first session. I had to go back and I had to double check that I'm not crazy. These are actually really good skates. So here they are. So these are the 2018 USD Carbon team skates. These are like a $400 boot only, I think. They are the top of the line, most expensive skates from USD. They were built back in the days with the Deshi skates. So Deshi was a company that made boots. Randy Spicer, Louis Zamora, Ian McLeod, a bunch of other people were on Deshi. Those were like the heavy hitters in my eyes, at least. They came out with this boot that was, a subset of USD, but it was a single piece boot that had a frame that attached to the bottom. And what's amazing about that is that back in those days, there weren't a lot of options for boots like this. Now we've got a couple. I don't have a lot, though. This is kind of like what the K2 Fatty did back in the days, which is come out with this soft boot style skate that was perfect for aggressive. It fit like a shoe. It was really comfortable. But not a lot of people were doing it. They did have like the Rollerblade TRS and the Rollerblade Access. Those were kind of like the first skinned sort of skates that I can remember. They used a plastic like skeleton. This was carbon, and this is carbon. So this whole area, this wrap around the bottom and around the sides is a carbon fiber. And that makes it really strong and really solid. It also makes it fairly light, but fairly expensive. There is no internal liner. So this liner is just part of the boot. So it is built into the boot itself. And there's this nice padded area that's kind of like what a liner would feel like, a nice padded liner would feel like, kind of similar to like an Intuition. but it's not removable. So this cuff is mounted, you can kind of see, this cuff is mounted to the boot, but this boot goes all the way up. There's no liner. This section here isn't a removable liner. This is a squishy foam that they put on the inside of this shell that makes it so that you can put your foot into this single boot. It has a 45-degree strap. So this 45-degree strap, again, it's not something that they pioneered, but it's a really well done one. Super beefy, super solid. It really helps. So I absolutely love 45-degree straps. I didn't know how much I loved them until I skated a skate with them and then had to skate a skate without them immediately after. This 45-degree strap pulls your foot back and it cinches your foot into the back of the skate. So you don't get that heel lift, you don't get that wiggle, that front and back shift that you sometimes get with skates. This fits like a glove. Pulls your foot back in there, keeps your foot from moving around. And when I am skating these skates, I feel like they are shoes, like they're attached to my feet. They feel amazing. The buckle's the buckle, nothing super fancy about that. They've got a nice little strap, which seems like it's pretty well built, nice and clean. It's got this stitching of the universal skate design. Really cool carry strap. Nice little USD PVC sticker thing in the back. They're just really well-made skates. Like, they look really nice. This being the 2018 version, they don't make this one anymore. The current version, the 2019-2020, is like a brownish, almost like a Timberland boot. Again, really nice, not really my style. I absolutely love these black skates. I love black skates. So this is, you can't really get any blacker than this skate. So I absolutely love this. Felt great, looked great. The look down is great. Super thin, super narrow, super form-fitting. They're great. The bottom of the skate is completely flat. So this sole plate is kind of like, I think I equated it in my first impressions video to like a meat in like a frame and boot sandwich. So these two cinch together using the UFS bolts. And this sole plate is just kind of there. It's just sitting there. It doesn't add any structural integrity or any additional, any strength or anything like that. It is just another piece of plastic that's sandwiched between the frame bolt and the boot. I had some concerns that would create a kind of flexy feeling. Like I felt like it would kind of move around a little bit. I did not get any of that feeling when I was skating. Now, granted, I've only skated them twice. I've only had them for 2 sessions. So I don't know what they're going to feel like after a month skating, after a year skating. But for now, they're feeling super solid. I don't have any wiggle in these skates. I don't feel like this frame is about to fall off. I don't feel like the sole plate is popping off. I mean, it's pretty solid. It isn't going anywhere. I did have a few people ask if I've tried the USD 7 sole plate. And I haven't. This is the... Oh, get out of there. I actually tried. Oh, get out. Ah, there it goes. This is the USD 7 sole plate. And you can see how it's constructed. Very similar. The USD 7 does have 4 bolts. So this sole plate does mount to the boot. And then these T-nuts mount to the UFS bolts into the boot, into the shell. That is a little different than this one. This one doesn't have any of those holes on the sides, but I don't know that it really needs it. This is an exception because this actually helps with the structural integrity. So you've got multiple areas of mount. With this though, because it's carbon, you don't really need all that much. I think the plastic might be thinner in the USD 7 than the carbon is thick in this USD Carbons. I am interested in trying these sole plates though. These are my favorite sole plates. I love the USD 7 and I think the sole plates are one of the main reasons. I wasn't able to get them on though. It looks like this negative side is much more narrow, and when I was putting it on the boot, I wasn't able to get this on there. So they do have, so this boot, this USD Carbon boot is also available as a carbon free, and they also use this shell for the God's Prado skate, the Mikel Prado skate. The problem is that Prado skate doesn't come with this carbon sole plate. It comes with this 7 sole plate. So I don't know how they're doing that. I don't know if they've modified these in the mold when they created the God's skate so that they would fit onto this boot. But out of the box, this USD 7 sole plate does not fit this USD Carbon, unless you get a bigger one, maybe. Maybe that's what they're doing. This is a size 44. Maybe they got like a 45 sole plate and they just put a bigger one on. That would look kind of silly, though. I don't know what they did. Maybe if you are watching in the chat and you know, let me know if you have an idea of what they did. My money is on they put something in the mold, like an insert, so that they could fit this skate. But I don't know. I haven't seen them. Anyway, so that is the sole plate. And then with the frames, I was skating the Fitty Fitty frames. I started with the John Fromm frames, switched it up to the red frames. I love this red on the black. This is actually the setup that I bought so that I could show off the red frames when the red frames first came in. This is why I bought this boot, because it was full black. And if you look at some of the initial product shots, I shot those product shots with this, not only to prove that it looked amazing with red frames, but these V2 balance frames are thinner up top, and they fit this sole plate without any modifications. So one of the problems that we've had with UFS over the years is the specs, the sizing specs have kind of gotten lost, and it's kind of like a game of telephone where one person says one thing and the next person repeats what that person says. And over time, the message gets a little muddy. The top of this is supposed to be 41 millimeters. There is no way this is 41 millimeters. This is like maybe 40, probably 39. So what we did with the balance frames is we modified them so that they were 38 millimeters. So they should be able to fit every sole plate out there with no problems. And just wanted to prove that, yeah, in fact, you could fit them on this skate with no problems. You wouldn't have been able to do this with a classic balance frame. So I think the V2 is really good. The Fromm frames have that V2 mold as well. The new frames that are going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks have a V2 as well. So we're fully in on the V2, and we're really happy that they fit all of the skates without any problems. How are they to skate? Well, absolutely love them. I don't know if you've seen any of my videos, but I felt like I'm skating better on these skates than I've skated on any skate ever. I was able to do all of my tricks, which is saying something after switching skates and having just one, maybe two sessions in. Even that first session at Durham, I didn't have any problems locking any of my tricks. And this weekend I went to Marsh, which is my favorite spot, but it's also a fairly intimidating spot. The ledge isn't too low, and I've fallen there so many times that I get a little scared of falling. So I'm very hesitant to try like topside tricks or whatever. Absolutely no problems. I jumped right on back royale, first try, no issues, locked on solid, slid maybe my best back royale ever at that ledge. Top acid, it took a few tries, but I was locked right on, slid my top acid, maybe better than any top acid I've ever done. They felt great for doing airs. I felt like I was airing higher than I've ever aired at that spot. I don't know if that's a mix of the Fitty Fitty bearings or the 58 or the 6088 wheels or the carbon being lighter. I don't know what was causing it, or maybe just me being excited about skating. It's really hard to say. I know that I didn't air that high in the New Jacks or in the Rems. Those skates weren't very fun for me to skate, though. These skates are fun to skate. They feel really great on my feet. What else is there to say? I had no muscle pain. I had no foot pain. I do think they're a little thin, so narrow. So they're not the widest skates on the market. They're very similar in my eyes to an Aeon, which is a fairly normal to thin width. It's not a wide width. Like I feel like the 7 is fairly wide. I feel like the Shift is fairly wide. I feel like the New Jack is fairly wide. These are not fairly wide. That's not bad for me because they fit me really well, but if you are planning on getting these skates or the carbon free, know that they're not the widest skates. They're probably like a normal, if not a little bit thinner, at least in my experience. Internal shock absorber felt great. This carbon is really solid, and it doesn't have a lot of give. So when you're doing airs and you land mostly on your heels, you can really feel it if you don't have a shock absorber in there. I have a shock absorber in here. It felt great. Absolutely no problems. So I've skated the John Fromm frames. I've skated the red frames. What is next? Well, after posting my video, I had a ton of comments on things that I should try next. You know, people saying, oh, you skated great, why don't you try this? So a lot of people were recommending that I try the USD 7 sole plate. That's going to take a little bit more modification than I have time for. So I'm not going to be doing that this next session. But I do have them ready. I took them off the boots. I was planning on setting them up. I think that would look really nice with that white sole plate. Maybe some white frames or some Fromm frames. I think that's going to look really nice. I will do that in the future. I'm not doing that this coming weekend. I did have a lot of people ask, could you tell me what these skates feel like with the Wish frame? And I said, you know what? I haven't even considered skating the Wish frames in a long time. I love the Wish frames. They're just not on my list. So I said, absolutely, I will give it a shot. I haven't skated the Wish frames in a long time. I think these are amazing skates. I already know everything that I need to know about these skates with balance frames. I know that they're perfect for me. What would they be like with Wish frames? So I set them up with Wish frames. So here are the skates that I'm going to be skating next week. So these are the original Wish frames. These are the large Wish frames, or whatever they're calling them, the original Wish frames, Wish chassis. I don't know what they're calling them. But these are the Wish. This is the original mold that Cletus made. He does have the medium now. I don't have the mediums here. I've given them to some friends to skate. But I have these set up so that I can skate them. They are amazing. I absolutely love these frames. They are in case you're not familiar, they are a flat rocker system. So these wheels are 60 millimeters on the inside, 72s on the outside. They are rockered up. So if you look at the line, I have my caliper case. Let me use this. So if you look at the line, you can see that the middle wheels are actually lower to the ground than the outside wheels. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, the reason is the UFS bolts. So if you take this, I'll take our adapts. Here we go, my sad adapts that are not getting skated. If you look at this, this is where the UFS bolts are. This is 167 millimeters from bolt 1 to bolt 2, 167. If you look at this frame, you can see where that 167 millimeters would be is right where the 60 millimeter wheels would be. So if they were riding 72 flat, these 72 millimeter wheels, in order to be flat, would rub on these mounting bolts. So rather than worry about that, what Cletus did is he took these wheels and rockered them down. That makes these run flat, but it gives you room underneath so that you can get that mounting bolt in. Really ingenious idea. I don't know that anybody had done it like this before. I know that a lot of people have done a flat rocker system in the past. I mean, even the original TRS had a flat rocker system. So the concept isn't new. The way that he's put it together, pairing with a nice big groove with huge wheel back protection, was revolutionary. And this is the frame that when I came back to skating in 2016, I thought everybody was making frames like that. I thought, oh, this is just the way that things are. It's a logical progression of frame technology. Little did I know that those frames had not been released yet. They were a pre-order, so I put my pre-order in. I was one of the few that pre-ordered these frames. And this was a very revolutionary frame. 20 years after UFS was released, there's still innovations to be had. So I'm really excited to skate these. I haven't skated these Wish frames in a long time. The huge thing that I want to try with these Wish frames is skating flat has its advantages. Now, I am a huge anti-rocker fan. I think a lot of you think that I'm a flat hater. I am not a flat hater. I am a skate park skater. And as a skate park skater, I have no need for skating flat because, one, the surface is always clean. And two, I do mostly grinder blading stuff. I mostly hang out on ledges and doing, coping and stuff like that. I don't do big airs. I don't skate rough terrain. I can get away with skating soft wheels anti-rocker, and I feel amazing skating them. But this is designed to skate all terrains. Cletus designed them to be like a mix between a recreational skate that you can skate around wherever you want and an aggressive skate so that you could do tricks and grinds or whatever whenever you stop and you want to skate spots. So instead of driving from spot to spot, you could just skate. And I think it's a brilliant idea. I can't wait to try them again. It's been such a long time since I've skated this setup. But I'm really excited to do it. These are the Guy Crawford 72 mil compass wheels and the Stefan Brando 60 millimeter fitty wheels. They are 90, these are 88, so it should be a really nice mix of the two hardnesses. Again, I am on the USD Carbon, and I'm going to be taking them out. I'm going to try to explore downtown Raleigh. I've done downtown Raleigh before on big wheels, and I've done downtown Raleigh on aggressive setups, but kind of just stuck in the same area, grinding ledges or whatever. I want to skate from ledge to ledge. I want to skate from wall ride to wall ride and stair to stair. And I want to test these out as they were intended to skate from spot to spot. So I'm going to be trying to do that on Saturday, weather permitting. I hope it'll work. Wish me luck. All right, so that is my current setup. Let me do some quick review of questions and see if there's any questions out there. I did bring my scale out, and I wanted to measure while we're out here all of the different carbon boots to see what the differences were. I have a theory, since I skated my Seba CJs the week before the USD Carbons, I have a theory that the Carbons are lighter than the CJs, but I don't know. I haven't weighed them. It's just like, it feels lighter to me. So I'd really like to know what the difference is. Let me take a few questions, get some water, and then I will weigh the skates. All right, I'm going to scroll all the way up, see if there's anything going on. Again, if you have any questions, please make sure that you are in the live chat. Make sure that you tag Back to Blading so that I can get it, and I will answer. Oh wow, 109 people watching. Hope I'm living up to expectations, everyone. All right, Zachary Buzza. Do Razors SL run true to shoe size? I ordered Derek Henderson's Pro, and the site I ordered from said they run small, so I ordered an 11 US instead of a 10 US. I need a helmet for kids. Hey, Zachary. I don't know where they got that information. I had the Razors Shift, and the Razors Shift I got a size 11, and they fit me fine. I think the problem was that the Razors shell breaks. So if you look at a traditional skate, like a normal, so you look at a Majestic 12 or a V13, the shell break for these is 910. So you use the same shell for the size 9 and the size 10 all the way up to 10.5. You would also use the same shell for the size 7 and 8. You would also use the same shell for size 11 and 12. With the Razors, their shell breaks are different. Their shell breaks are 10-11. So, what does that mean for you? Well, if you were on a size 12, you would probably be recommended to get the size 11 so that you could fit into a smaller shell and probably squeeze your foot into this big shell. The fact that you said that you were downsizing them, I wonder what size your skate is when you tried to order it. The size 10 and 11 is going to be the same shell. So this is the Razors SL. This is a size 10.5. This is a 43.5, and this shell is the, I don't see the size in there, 11. So this is the 11 shell with a size 43.5, 10.5 liner. This is a size 11 shell. So I got this for a size 10. If you ordered the 11, you're probably going to get this shell. This shell will fit you just fine with a size 10. The question would be the liner. And I don't know what size liner they put in the skate that you bought. If you're a size 10, I'm a size 10.5. My foot measures 28.5 centimeters if you measure your feet with centimeters. This is supposed to be right at that area. So an 11 would probably be a little big if you were normally a size 10, but it's the same shell. So whatever skate shop you bought it from probably said the right thing. You could probably get an 11, you'd be fit fine. You might want to downsize that liner though. You might want to get a size 10 liner. Keep it in the shell. The shell is going to be fine. The frames are going to be fine. The sole plates are going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. But you might want to downsize that liner because you might not fit super well in there. You'll have to find out. I think trying it on, you'll know immediately if the liner is too big. If your foot is swimming around in there, you probably want to downsize that liner and get something a little smaller. The nice thing about SLs is the cuff, the boot area is fairly squishy. So I found that I can tie this up pretty tight and cinch my foot in. So even if the liner is small, I don't get a lot of movement inside the boot. You could, if you could find them, of course, get yourself some Rain V3s. These are amazing. They are like an $80 liner, again, if you can find them. This is a size 10, and this fit my foot fine, and I'm a 28.5 centimeter foot. This fit perfectly in this boot, but you can see that it's a pretty small liner compared to the size of this shell. But that's an option for you. I don't think you ordered the wrong skate. I think that maybe the liner might be a little big. You might want to downsize that liner, but you're not going to have any problems skating it. Your foot will fit just fine. The boot might just be a little big. Let us know, though, if you get them, and when you get them, let us know what you thought. I'd be really curious. Sizing is always such a weird topic to discuss because everybody's foot is a little different, and every shop has a different idea of what works and what doesn't. Whenever I do my reviews, I always order the size 44, and I always order the 28.5 centimeter, whatever that ends up being, even if it's the wrong size, so that I can say, this is what I ordered, and it was too tight. Or this is what I ordered, and it fit perfectly. Shops don't do that level of research with every size. They can't possibly do that level of research with every size. And I'm only one guy with one size foot. So all that I can say is it sounds like you ordered the right skate. You might want to swap out those liners if you can fit a smaller liner. But I'm sure you're really going to enjoy those skates. They look really great. I love my SLs. And I think those Hendersons look great too. Jeremy, if wearing a helmet is cool, consider me Miles Davis. Well, you are the coolest, Jeremy. Thank you for wearing your helmet. My skate addiction. Are the carbons better for street or transition? That is a great question. I would probably say they're better for transition, but they are amazing for street. I haven't had any reason to not recommend them for street. The only thing I would say, and I just noticed that tonight, is that I am starting to get a little bit of wear on the toe. And I know that these skates, because they are a material, they're not a plastic, they're going to wear faster than like a plastic shell would. It's not a huge deal. Like, skates are made to be skated and destroyed, but if you want to keep these for a long time, you probably don't want to skate them on rough terrain. I'm primarily at a skate park and I already have some wear on the toe. If you're skating, gnarly streets and stuff and you're falling, you're going to damage these skates pretty quickly. I would probably keep them to skate parks and transitions. But there's no performance reason that you wouldn't skate them. The 45-degree strap and the carbon is going to make you feel really solid when you're doing transitions. I highly recommend them for transitions, but that's not to say you shouldn't skate them on street. I know a lot of people do. They're just very expensive. And if you're out there on gritty terrain, skates are meant to be destroyed, but I don't know that I would recommend skating them on street because you're going to destroy them. Great question. Thomas Romeo, is the carbon similar to the God's Mikel Prado skate? It is. The USD carbons that I have are the same mold and the same design. The skin is different on the God skates, and it is plastic. So it isn't the carbon fiber. It is a plastic, just like the carbon free, but it has a different skin, which is made like of a nice leather material. Really nice, though. I think the Gods are really, again, I worry about skating them on street because you're going to get them dirty, but they're a beautiful skate. They did an amazing job in this design. And I think either the Prados or the Frankies, Both of those God skates are really nice. They are the same as the carbon free. They are the same as the carbon, but a plastic version. Blader Manual concerns men well. Concerns about the fabric-like material on the front. Mine wore through quite quick. That's exactly what we were talking about. That's awesome. You did leave that comment before I said it, but yes, much concerns. I think, after 2 sessions, I already have some wear. Skates are meant to be worn. If you look at my USD 7s, these things are just beat up and, lots of scrapes and stuff. This is a plastic boot, though. This was a $200 complete versus a $400 boot only. This is something that I think everybody expects to wear through pretty quickly. I don't know if people expect, a $400 boot to wear out that quickly. I don't know. Again, time will tell. I think it depends. I don't think that the USD Carbon is a skate for everyone. I think it's a skate if you have the means, if you've got the money to invest into a nice skate. If you're going to skate a lot and you want the best of the best, it's probably a really good skate to consider. If you're concerned that you're going to wear through it, again, if you're skating a gritty terrain, if you're skating rough streets, you probably want something that you're able to beat up. If anything, get some carbon frees. Save yourself a couple $100. I think carbon frees are $300, maybe $100 less. So $300 boot only. They're definitely going to wear out just as fast, but at least you'll save $100. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting review. I'm going to keep track of it, and I'm going to try to skate them often, so we'll see. I am going to be skating street this weekend, so we'll see if I fall down and how quickly they wear through. Derek W. I'm interested in getting the Wish medium frame with 50/50 wheels, 65 outer and 58 inner. Is it going to make a difference if the inner and outer wheels are different hardnesses? No, I don't think so. I think that traditionally you would want the softer wheels. Traditionally, you want everything to be the same. So if you were skating flat, you would want, flat 85 or flat 88 or flat 90 or flat 92 or whatever your pleasure, right? A lot of people skated Cosmos back in the days and they were flat 85. Not a lot of people skating flat 85 nowadays. Usually if you're skating flat, you're on like a Sola frame, and you're probably skating flat 90s or 92s. It's a fairly traditional, typical flat setup nowadays. With the Wish frame, because you have two different, I actually have mine again. Because you have two different wheels, you can mix and match profiles, you can mix and match hardnesses, you can mix and match everything to get that perfect feel. My rationale behind harder wheels on the inside, softer wheels on the outside, is that softer wheels will provide a little bit more grip and a little bit more bounce. So when I'm striding, I get on my toes more or I get on my heels more, and I'm skating and I want that extra grip from my toe. Or if I'm turning, I want that extra grip from my heel. When I'm doing grinds, when I'm skating or I'm on a ledge or something like that, I want a harder wheel so that I have a little bit less wheel bite. The harder wheel will also wear slower, and because this is a flat rocker, the outside wheels will wear faster, but they won't wear super fast because these inside wheels will keep them from wearing too fast. So I think the balance between a harder wheel on the inside, a softer wheel on the outside is the right way to go. I think with the 50/50 wheels, the hardest 50/50 wheel that we make is a 90. Again, you can find a harder wheel. If you're looking for a hard 58, the dead 58s are probably a really great 58 to put on the inside. The 90-65, the 65 90s that 50/50 makes, they're great. They are a hard 90. I don't make a softer one. I think there's a few out there. Maybe not 50, 60, maybe not 65, but 64s. You could find some softer 54. Can't talk right now. You might be able to find some softer 65s than 90A, but I don't know that 90A is going to be a problem. The thing about 65s is because there's so much urethane on this core, the softer the urethane, the more squish you're going to get. So we went with a 90A on the 65s because there was so much urethane in such a small core. We wanted that level of hardness so that it didn't have any responsiveness issues. But I don't think you're going to have a problem with them. I think a 90 on the outside, you know, if you got the 50/50s, get the 58/90s. They should be here. When are they going to be here? 2 weeks, I think. The 58/90s. So get those on the inside, or you can get 58/88s. I mean, either one's going to be fine. Honestly, I'd probably recommend the 65/90s on the outside and get some dead 58/92s on the inside. I think that profiles matching will be really nice. They're a very similar profile to the 65/90s, and the harder 92 is going to be a really nice balance for those medium frames. But that's just me. Again, you do you. I appreciate the support at 50/50. Full disclosure, I do own 50/50, so you know, you're supporting me, but I'm also a little close to not be biased. But I do recommend the dead 58/92s on the inside. I don't know that I would go up to the 95s. 95 just feels like it's a little rock. But I think 92s would be great, and then paired with a 65/90 on the outside, I think you'd have a really nice setup. Good question. I haven't had that one. I haven't skated those medium wish in a long time. I need to do that. It's been a long time. Laura Morgan says, could you say hi to hubby? It's his birthday today. Well, happy birthday. I don't know. But happy birthday, Laura's husband. I don't know your name, but I appreciate you. Thank you for watching on your birthday night. I'm sorry on behalf of the world that you are stuck, not out celebrating. I sure hope you're not out celebrating with this COVID world. But happy birthday, and I hope that you have a great evening. Thomas Romeo, shout out to Donovan. Okay, we're getting a lot of shout outs tonight. That's nice. I love you all. That's great. I love that everybody's here. All right, before we do anything else, let me do this. Let me measure these skates, because this is something that I really wanted to do. I brought my scale out, and I was really curious. You know, I skated these super well, and I wanted to know why. And aside from just the design, you know, the sole plate being a little wider is a thing, but I wanted to know why I was skating better. And I had a theory that they might be a little lighter. You know, I was airing a little bit higher too, and the sole plate doesn't have anything to do with me being able to air. So what I wanted to do is measure them. Just drop my thing. Gotta love UFS when it works. So this is the USD Carbon when the sole plate comes off. Just a standard sole plate. Pop right on, 2 UFS bolts, and you're good to go. I do have my scale here. This is the display. It's upside down, but there's the display. So I am going to measure them in grams so that I can know what the numbers are. So this is the size 44 USD Carbon 2018 with sole plate. I'm not going to weigh with frames because that can be all over the place, just the way that it is. So this is 1196. So if you're playing along at home, 1196 for the USD Carbon. 1196. Where's the Adapt? This is the Adapt Stealth. This is the 2017 version. 1310. So the carbons were 1196. This is 1310. So about 100 grams heavier. And they do feel a little bit heavier. I know that the carbon is a little thicker on these, so that would make sense. But 1314. So 1196 and 1394. Let me write this down real quick because I'm going to forget. Oh my god. There we go. 1196, 1314. And the last one is the Seba. Seba. There they are. Oh, Seba. So these are the Seba CJs. These are the skates that I was on a week before I skated those USD Carbons. They felt great. But you can hear, people commented that, oh, you could hear this clacking. What was going on? It's this friggin' buckle. These buckles are just busted. Anyway, let's measure them with sole plate. 1284. 1284. So 1196, 1314, 1284. So we're talking about 100 grams heavier for both the Seba and the Adapt versus the USD Carbon. And you could feel it. It makes a difference. I don't know that it makes a huge difference. I don't know that 100 grams is the reason why I was able to jump a little bit higher. I think that it might have contributed though, and now I know. So thank you for thank you for your patience. Now we know what the weights are. I wonder how heavy they are. Do I have any other boot onlys here? Let me see how heavy they are to a plastic boot. We could always throw out. So this is the New Jack Team boot only. 1314. So, hey, that's the same weight as the Adapt. This big, bulky looking skate is the same weight as the Adapt, the more you know. And what's the last one? Oh, I can get the rems out. Let me get the rems out. I got to walk all the way over here. Oh my God, these things are heavy. I'm running out of space here. I'm gonna need to get a warehouse just for my skate collection. All right, these are the Rems HR 2.5s, the heaviest skates I own, the worst skates that I own. They hurt my feet so bad that I was bleeding after 30 minutes of skating. Boot only, 1774. No, it's even less. Oh, because I'm lifting it up. It's even more because I was lifting it up with a cable. 1794. If anybody comes to you and says, oh no, the Rems, they're not that heavy, they are lying to you. These are the heaviest skates there are. Like, the reason is because you could look in here, they put a sole plate on top of the sole plate. There's like 2 sole plates here. Guys, come on. Yeah, they're like twice the weight. They're like twice the weight of the USD Carbons. Anyway, fun with numbers, fun with scales. Let's get into it. So I have a mystery box. I hope that I'm not setting it up for anything crazy. I hope people aren't expecting the world. I like to meet expectations, but this is going to be a little weird. I don't think anybody guessed it. Quick story. So my YouTube channel, Back to Blading, I just crossed 10,000 subscribers. And I wanted to say thank you all so much for the support, for watching the videos, for sharing the videos, for subscribing. Even if you don't subscribe, just for watching the videos. Means a lot. It's great to have a platform like YouTube where I can produce content, share it with everybody in the world. I have people all around the world watching, commenting on videos, saying that they love the skating, they laugh when I fall. Like, it makes me feel great to know that this many people can actually appreciate what I do. I just crossed 10,000 subscribers. I'm at like 10,080 something right now. And while numbers don't really mean much to me, they do unlock a merchandise shelf. So I am not a huge fan of buying things that I don't need. But I have had a lot of people ask if I make t-shirts, and they wanted to wear a t-shirt. And I'm like, I don't have t-shirts, but man, let me look into it. When you cross 10,000 subscribers, YouTube unlocks this thing called the merchandise shelf. So if you go to the YouTube page, if you go to any of the videos on a web browser, I think it also is on mobile, but you'll see at the bottom of the video a little list of all of these different items that I have for sale. So I have worked with my good friend Stefan Brando to come up with a few logos for Back to Blading t-shirts. And if you're familiar with the blading community, we use this logo for the blading community. This is something that we did last year. We did it in a dark gray with a black print. This is a navy shirt with a white print. It is single-sided, so we had a back side last time. It's just a single-sided. It's a 3-inch print. And it is also available in a tank top because it is summer. I'm not a tank top guy. I like to keep the guns at home. But if you are a tank top person, we do have tank tops as well. There is also a new Back to Blading baseball logo. So this is a logo that I was really happy to see. I have a shirt on order. These are all made through Teespring, so they'll be ordered when you order them. And I think that helps with international. So if you're watching this from outside of the US, I think they have printing people outside in the UK and in the EU. So they'll be able to ship directly from there. If you're at all interested, we have the new baseball logo also on a t-shirt, also on a tank top. We also are making coffee cups with that logo. And I think they came out great. I'm going to have a couple of them here in a couple of weeks so that I could show them to you. All the proceeds that I'm going to make from any of the sales of merchandise, I'm going to be putting back into the helmet fund. I already have a Patreon, and I already have the AdWords for the videos that fund Back to Blading, that get me the skates so that I can continue doing reviewing, cover the shipping for the helmets and things like that. So anything that comes from any of the t-shirt sales or the coffee mugs, I'm going to be putting that back into the helmet initiative. I think that's a good use of the money. I don't really need to sell t-shirts, but I know a lot of people love wearing t-shirts, and I love t-shirts, but it's really great to have this partnership with YouTube and this partnership with Teespring where I'm able to just create these t-shirts. They show up on the channel. You can order them if you want. I don't have to worry about investing money in them. They handle everything, and I make a little bit of money off of each of the designs. So thank you all again so much for the support, for subscribing, for sharing, for helping everybody find the videos. It really means a lot, and now I have t-shirts. So long story short, if you're interested, they're there. You can also go to youtube.com/backtoblading and click on the merchandise tab, I think it is, and you'll be able to see all the stuff. More will be coming as well. So we have different colorways coming in a couple of months. We have different logos that are coming in a couple of months. I'm going to try to keep things fresh and rotate. But again, grab it if you've got it. If you do get a t-shirt, make sure that you take a picture and tag me on it on the Instagram so that I can see it. I'd love to see what they look like and what you guys are doing out there with them. All right, let's get to the main event, the mystery skates. So the reason why I bring that up is that I know a lot of you watching Gear Talk are aggressive skaters. I am primarily, and I consider myself an aggressive skater. I consider myself a skater, but if I had to pick one discipline, I would consider myself an aggressive skater. Through the power of YouTube, though, I am able to reach a broad audience. And a lot of these viewers are watching my recreational skate videos. The aggressive skate videos are popular, but the most popular ones are the recreational skates. And the reason is obviously that the recreational market is huge. You know, aggressive is maybe like a 1% of the overall skating market. And I wanted to continue doing some reviews like I do with my aggressive skates, but for recreational skates. I feel like I have a unique twist on it. I feel like I'm actually going to go out there and tell it like it is. I'm not getting these skates. I'm buying these skates using money from our Patreon supporters and from the ads. So I'm able to just say exactly what they are without having a fear of skate companies not flowing me product anymore or insulting anybody. I can say that they're not good if they're not good. My first main skate review like that was this Blade Runner XT. If you remember this review, these are $80 skates. $80 skates. It's crazy how cheap these skates are. So these are $80 skates. If you do a search for the word inline skate in Amazon in the US, you will find these skates. So I did a review on these skates, and I found that these skates for $80 were actually not that bad. They weren't great. I'll be honest. They had their issues. The wheels felt like chalk when I was skating them. I would do a slide and I left. You could see how bad these wheels are now. They just disintegrated when I was skating. But for somebody who is getting into skating, who doesn't know what they're doing, who doesn't want to invest a ton of money, wants to say around $100, I think these are a fairly sound purchase. They're not going to be the most comfortable. They're not going to be the most durable, but they're going to work really well. They're fast. The wheels actually held up pretty well. The bearings were nice. The comfort inside, it was a fine skate. It's not great. It's a fine skate. It does have a 45-degree strap. Nice buckle, lacing. I mean, again, this is a fine skate. If you do a Google search for rollerblade, not inline skate, but rollerblade, you pick up a different skate. So these are the first search term that you get when you do a Google search, a Google search. You don't use Google search outside of Google. If you do a search in Amazon for the word rollerblade, these are the first skates that show up. These are the rollerblade Zetra Blade. I think that's it. Rollerblade Zetra Blade. I don't think there's any other words behind it. These are the rollerblade Zetra Blades. These were $90. So a huge upgrade from the cheap $80 skates. These are $80. Ugh, gross. I'm gonna spend more money and I'm gonna get the $90 skates. These are the $90 skates. If you look at them, they're very similar. The design is very similar. They are both, that soft shell area with the integrated frame. This frame is different. I was looking to see if they're different. This frame is different. This lower is different. This cuff is different. They are different skates. They're not the same skate. This is a Rollerblade brand skate versus this being a Blade Runner by Rollerblade skate. So this is a different market. This is a cheaper skate. This is like the lowest end Rollerblade brand skate. And it looks so much better. Like just the visuals of this skate are so much better than those other ones. So starting from the top, it's got the same integrated liner. Nothing to write home about. If you've compared this to the USD Carbons, you will get a very different ride with these than you will with these. Different market. These have the buckle up top. This is a plastic buckle. This is not metal. This is metal. Blade Runner's plastic as well. Plastic buckle. I don't know how well this is going to hold up. It's got the 45-degree strap, so it should keep you nice and cinched in there. The lacing system seems pretty sound. It uses the little inner lacing system versus going through eyelets like the other one. It has 4x80 millimeter wheels. These wheels are clear. They have a weird looking hub that's kind of cool, actually. I think the print is pretty nice. Is it a single color? It's a 2-color print. So they spent a little bit of money on these wheels. Probably not a lot of money, but a little bit of money. And that's about it. They come with a brake if you skate too fast and you need to slow yourself down. And I will be reviewing them this weekend. So what do I look for in a recreational skate? Well, the most important thing is, does it hurt my foot when I skate? People who are buying these skates are probably buying their first skates. The most important thing for them is comfort. They want to make sure that it doesn't hurt their feet. Because if it starts hurting their feet, they're just going to give up. Getting blisters and stuff like that, putting your foot in the skate, that's already a deal breaker. They want to make sure that these wheels actually roll nice and smooth. So many skates, I see my kids skating with their friends and they get these super cheap skates and the bearings barely roll. And it's like they're just walking down the street. You got to have a little bit of spin. Even these bearings, these are probably ABEC 3 bearings, maybe ABEC 5s. But you got to have some bearings that'll actually spin a little bit. I mean, they're not great, but they're going to do the job. And I want to make sure that I have support. So the comfort on the inside, important, but having some support, having a 45-degree strap, super important for this quality of skate. These uppers are not built for any sort of support. It's really just comfort. So having a 45-degree strap is really going to keep your foot locked in, keep you from hurting your ankle if you fall weird. You know, a lot of people who are getting these skates don't know how to tie up their skates properly. They're probably treating them like shoes, and they're probably just tying them up a little bit. They don't realize they need to, you know, kick your foot back into the heel. They don't realize they need to tighten up the laces so that they're nice and cinched around your foot. They don't realize that they're supposed to wear socks that are maybe a little thinner than normal. They don't know anything. $80 skates, these are $90 skates. That market is brand new to the sport. So I will make a review and I will see what I think of these skates. And I'm excited. I love reviewing skates like this because I think that this is the market that we can get into skating that is just the entry. And right now, all they have is somebody holding the skate and saying, hey, this is good, this is good, this is good. Here's where you can buy it. And it's an Amazon affiliate link. Sometimes they skate them, sometimes they don't. I'm going to go in there and skate them hard. I'm going to take the brake off. I'm going to skate that hard. I'm going to see what they feel like. So the Rollerblade Zetra Blade is the next skate that I'll be reviewing. This will be a Sunday project. On Saturday, I am going to go to downtown Raleigh and I am going to skate around with the Wish frames with the USD Carbons. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I love making review videos though, so look for this sometime next week. It'll probably be Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to skating them. I will report back, and yeah, I'll have them at the Gear Talk in 2 weeks. All right, let me get a drink. I will start reading all of the comments. If you had a question for me, I would love to answer your question. I will stick around until there are no more questions. It's been an hour already, and I am doing good. I have plenty of water left. And if you are listening, watching in the live stream, make sure that you tag back to Blading if you have a question. I'd love to answer it. If I don't have the answer, I will get the answer for you, and I will report back next episode. All right. Scrolling up. Okay. My Skate Addiction asks, how do you think the Wish frames would go with some REMS HR 2.5s? I just talked about the REMS HR 2.5s. I think they're by far the skate to avoid right now. They're just so heavy. I don't think anybody's going to have any fun skating them. When I was skating them, they hurt my feet. It felt like my feet was bowing out and like ending up like a cowboy at the end of the session. I don't think you should skate any frames with these. I don't think you should skate these. So how are they going to work with the Wish frames? I don't know. I don't recommend it because I think it's too heavy. There's so many other skates on the market that would be lighter, that would be more responsive. If you're skating a Wish frame, you want to get speed. Granted, if you're dropping in on a mini ramp or something with a Wish with 72s and these heavy ass skates, you're going to go pretty fast. I don't know that that's what you're looking for though. I think most of all, you should probably just get some SLs or something like that. I think an SL would be great with a Wish frame. I think a Shift would be great with a Wish frame. Anything with a big sole plate would be great with a Wish frame. These are just, they're just so heavy. Not recommended. Junglist 1987, do you think Rossies will release a new cootie? That's a great question. I don't think they will release a cootie. I think the cootie was an interesting project. For those who don't know, the cootie is, where's my fifths? These were the Fifth Elements, the non-UFS Fifth Elements. The cooties were a soft boot version of this. So it had a big soft boot area up here that you could tie, kind of like this, where it's like a material that you could tie. They weren't great. I think a lot of people liked them, but looking back, there weren't a lot of technical advances. I think sticking with the original Fifth Element would have probably been smarter for them. I don't know that they're going to be doing another cootie. The good question is, do you think Rossies will be releasing another Valo Light style skate? And that would be amazing. I think that they should. I think instead of the cootie, they should do a skinned Valo Light with the carbon and go into the high end, compete against the USD Carbons and against the Seba and stuff like that. Will they do it? Probably not. It's probably an expensive skate. I think they're trying to make back the money that they spent on the Fifth Element molds. That was a very expensive skate. I don't know that they sold super well, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, I don't think a Kuti is going to be coming back. I don't see that happening. But I've been wrong before. I'll probably be wrong again. Guy Crawford, you are doing magnificently, my man. I appreciate that, Guy. Thank you so much. There is a package going to Kevin's house. I told him to give you some of it when you were nice. So if you are a good boy, you will get some. I hope you get some. Does Wake Up Dog, does 50/50 have any plans to make a frame like the Slimline or Wish frame that rides flat with different wheel sizes? It's an interesting question. We have been talking about doing new frames. Nothing to announce today, but we have been talking about doing new frames that would be a little bit more flexible. The balance frame, so this is the frame that brought back 50/50. This is the frame that I designed back in 2001, 2002. And this is the way that I like to skate. So this frame, to me, was, for my style of skating, exactly what I wanted. I realize that this isn't for everyone. We do sell a lot of these, and people love these frames. But there are so many different frame designs out there. I mean, obviously, I'm skating the Wish this weekend. I would love to experiment more with different frame designs. I think I know enough about frame design now after skating dozens of different frames to know what works and what doesn't, what each of the frames brings to the table that's really unique, that could be really good. I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to say it's happening anytime soon. We do have a few new frame designs that we're working on. They won't be out this year, but 2021 should be an interesting year for 50/50. If everything goes smooth, again, COVID is crazy. We don't know how the future is going to be with that, but assuming that everything goes according to plan, 2021 we should have something new to announce. Kickstands up. Are you going to try the USD Carbons out with a big wheel setup? That is also an interesting question. So, from what I've heard, the carbon in these USD Carbons is not thick enough to skate a big wheel frame without the sole plate. And that's fascinating to me. Like, why would this piece of plastic, where'd my sole plate go? Oh, get it. Why would this piece of plastic make the difference between being there and not being there? And I guess that it does add some strength. So I think I said that it didn't matter. It probably matters. With the Seba CJ, you skate these without the sole plate all the time. So when you're skating a wizard setup, like an NR900 or NR100, you skate the NR100s without the sole plate. And you can see my wizards when I was skating them. You can see the wear. This is a different shell, though. I think the thickness in this USD Carbon is different than the thickness in this one. I will skate these with the big wheels. I will give them a try. But I'm going to keep the sole plate on. I don't think that it is designed to skate with big wheels. I think that if you're skating with big wheels, you probably need to keep the sole plate on. That makes it a little taller, makes the big wheels even taller than normal. I think it depends on what you define big wheels. I'll probably go out with some 80s with these. I probably won't go any bigger than 80s. So I think 80s are as big as I want to go with an aggressive boot. If I'm going 110s, you're going to need something like a dedicated skate. Even though this is a zoom and technically a sway, you're going to need something with a ratchet 45-degree buckle so that you can get your foot nice and stable. Otherwise, the height that you get, you might screw up your ankle. Trinity mount helps with that. It makes it nice and low, but again, big wheels don't really mix super well with aggressive skates. I think this is the exception. But technically, this isn't really a sway. This is more of a zoom in this configuration. Got a lot of skates on the ground this week. I like shows where I take things off the wall a lot. All right. Let's see. Grivok says, I wore through my toe in the Carbon 2, made them free skates, great for that purpose. Yeah, that is my biggest fear with these skates, is that I'm going to wear through the toes. And that is probably going to happen. I could probably put some nail polish on, or like some rubber, like they have, I don't know what it's called, but like a clear coat sort of rubber thing. That might help prolong it a little bit, but really, this material is just going to wear. They really need to make it out of rubber or something like that that would keep you from wearing. Plastic even. Like a plastic toe that fits over the top. That could be something. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's why I do reviews. Just to see what it really feels like. Junglist 1987, regarding the shops researching skate sizes and how they fit, Loco Skates do a review on YouTube, trying on loads of different models and trying to downsize, upsize if needed. It is a great video. Good call out. Loco has a lot of really great videos. Loco is one of those shops that sweats the details. Absolutely love Loco. I think Jake and the team are doing an amazing job on the YouTube. They did try on a bunch of different skates, and they said this one is marked as a 43. I am a 43. It feels like a 42, or it feels like a 43. I don't have a link, but if you do a search for Loco and look through their videos, you'll find it. There's a lot of great videos up there, though. So good call out. Thank you for bringing that up. Definitely worth watching. Olgo Puffman. Speaking of ordering the wrong skate, I ordered the Rems 2.5s and then saw your review. Any thoughts on the best way to test them out while keeping them in returnable quality? I mean, you can watch my review and you'll see the first 10 minutes of skating, I felt like everything was going to be fine. And then you could see in my face that my hopes and dreams just melted. I think they're really difficult skates to find comfort in. There is this Rems sixth toe thing. So if you look at your foot, your pinky toe, on the outside of your pinky toe, there's this notch, this little notch inside the shell that for a lot of people, that notch rubs. And when it rubs, it creates this blister, and it was bleeding for me. It's not good. Yeah, I would put them on and walk around the house without frames and just see what it feels like. I think, they are super heavy and they're not going to fit super well, and you can do a lot better. I know right now things are a little weird. They don't have a lot of skates in a lot of sizes, so it might be, I don't know, I hate to say return them because you might not be able to find other skates, but I don't think you're going to be happy with the Rems. I would say that the odds are you're not going to be happy with the Rems. Some people are, though. So I'm not going to say they're not forever. I'm not going to say that they're the worst skates ever. They're just the worst skates ever for 80% of the people. There's so many people out there who love Rems who got on my case because I didn't like the Rems. But there were like 5 times as many who said, yep, same problem. Yep, I had to return them. Yep, they hurt me. So, again, your mileage may vary. I think walking around inside your house, putting them on your feet, seeing if they feel good, be mindful of that outside near your pinky toe. That is the section that really hurts most people. If you can feel it at all, then they're probably not the skates for you, because that is going to rub. The fit inside isn't super snug, and it's going to rub. And you're going to start hitting it and hitting it and hitting it whenever you're skating. Your ankles, instead of being straight, are going to start bending out like this because, again, it's not the best fit. It's a fairly wide fit, but it's a very narrow fit. So many problems with that skate. I wish you luck. I would probably return them if I were you. That's my hunch. Chris Brown, first time watching live here in the UK. Oof, it's late. Thank you for staying up. Been thinking about upgrading my old Shadow with the new USD Shadow, liner, boots, and the supporting hardware. Anything to watch out for? I actually really liked the Shadows for aggressive. I think it depends on what you're skating. The biggest problem with the Shadows was they don't provide a ton of support. And at launch, the Shadows were sold like dupes. I don't know if you're familiar with dupes, but dupes are the USD Shadow that don't come with liners. So you've put your shoe in and you skate around town, and they're big wheels. You skate around town and you take your dupes off, your skates off, and you're still in your shoes. So you can walk into a store and get a coffee, put your dupes back on and skate home. It's an amazing concept. The problem is that without that support, an 80 millimeter wheel or higher is really like ankle breaker material. I tested the USD Shadows with the current version with the liner with 100 millimeter wheels on a Trimax, which is the way that they come. Or I should say they came. I don't think they come like that anymore. And it was the worst decision. It was such a bad skate. For aggressive, for skating ledges and, just doing grinds, they were great. I absolutely loved them. I felt like I could do all of my tricks. Big wide soles, a lot of flex, really, really comfortable. If that's what you're doing, I think you should go for it. I think they're a great skate. If you plan on getting them and skating all sorts of things, I wouldn't. It looks like you used to skate Shadows. So again, I think you're familiar with the limitations of that skate. But in a lot of ways, the old Shadows were better because you could use your own shoes. Like, nobody wants to walk around with these tall liners, these Eclipse liners. They're like boxing shoes, like these really tall high tops. They're not comfortable to walk around in. So that nice thing about the Shadow, you don't get anymore. You're going to have to change. You could walk around in those shoes, but you're going to have to change your shoes or bring your shoes with you. It's probably better to just get yourself, a pair of Sways and just bring your shoes. Get yourself a pair of Sways and a backpack instead of the USD Shadows. They're going to cost as much money. If you're an old Shadow fan, then yeah, maybe you should get them. Maybe you should try them. I wouldn't recommend it though. I think the old Shadows were one thing. The new Shadows, I think they're fine to skates. They're good for aggressive, but they're very limited. Great question. I haven't thought about the Shadows in a long time. They're a very interesting skate. Wake Up Dog. Oh, you already asked that question. Somebody did. Does Fitty Fitty have any plans to make a frame like the Slimline or the Wish that rides flat with different wheel sizes? Yes, we already talked about that. Appreciate the support. Slimlines are great. Slimlines are a very different skate frame. Fitty Fitties are really just designed for low profile grinding, and that's what they do really well. New frames on the works. Nothing to report back, but 2019 should be interesting. Kyle Sloan, how would you compare the solid feeling of the carbons to the Aeons? That is an excellent question. The Aeons are the most solid skates on the market, and the reason is it's a single design. Do I have my 60s? They're there. Can't reach them. So the fact that the Aeons don't have UFS means that this frame is part of the boot. So there is no flex whatsoever. The carbons are great, but you still have multiple pieces of material separating your foot from the boot. You've got T-nuts, you've got this little pad, you've got the sole plate, and then you've got the frame. UFS is only so solid, and 2 points of contact is great. No points of contact is better. The Aeon's going to be the most solid skate. I don't think you're going to be able to beat this because it is that single piece design. I don't know that I recommend them for everyone, but if you're getting back into blading, these are the skates that I always recommend. And the reason is, out of the box, you put your foot in and you go skate. Skating flat, you can't find a better frame. These are the lowest frames possible because they don't have UFS, and they're the great split like the Wish frame with the wheel bite protection like the Wish frame, but it is a flat 60, so it's going to be low. I don't recommend them for everyone. I think if you know what you want, if you want to skate anti-rocker or something, probably not the best. These aren't great anti-rocker skates. They're okay, but I think you can do a lot better. And yeah, there's just no options with Aeons. So you do pay for that solid feeling. You do pay for that single piece design with a lack of flexibility in frame options and in setup options. But this is probably a great skate for most people. It's a good question, though. I love the solid feeling that I get. I think the carbon definitely helps. The carbon with the frame. The problem is this sole plate. If I could skate an aggressive frame without this sole plate, it would probably feel better. Skating the Seba with a metal frame feels great. And that's why they do it with the Wizard setup. They skate the Seba CJ or the Seba SX, and they don't have a sole plate. They put the carbon frame, the aluminum frame directly on the carbon. Feels amazing. Lots of responsiveness, super great feeling. This is similar to that, but it's not on that level. And I think the Aeon is probably the most responsive of all. Throat is dying tonight. A super chat. Laura Morgan. Hey, thank you, Laura. Thank you so much. Happy birthday. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It really means a lot. And the money from the super chat goes into the helmet fund. So that's always awesome. Thanks for supporting that as well. Ruslyn Green. How is the 50/50 frame flat? Best option other than, the way that it does these, it doesn't load all the chat at once for some reason. How is the 50/50 frame for flat? Best option other than Wish for flat. 50/50 frame for flat. If all you're doing is transitions, it's great. If you want to do grinds, it's difficult. We make a 58 millimeter wheel that has a bullet profile. It is great for skating this frame. You could also skate a rounded 56, if you could find one, like a eulogy wheel probably. That would feel good for flat. But to be honest, these aren't super great for flat. I think they're not bad. They're not super great for flat. They're really designed for anti-rocker skating, juice blocks, or if you're skating flat, just skating fast. If you're looking for a flat frame, I don't have a ton here. The problem with flat frames is they sell out so quickly that you can't find them. The K2 Unnatural frame, I have a set here. These frames. These are the K2 Unnaturals. These are great for flat. The skates aren't great, but the frames are great for flat. You could probably find a K2 Unnatural and then just get the frame and sell the boot only, and it would be worth it. These frames are really good. They are flat 60, I think, but you can rocker them, so you can make them whatever configuration you like. If you get these with the right wheels, they will feel great. A lot of people rave about these. I thought they were good. I didn't think they were amazing, but they're probably one of the best flat frames out there. I don't know that they're making them anymore, though, so it's going to be hard to find. But you could probably find some Unnaturals or some Front Streets and then just sell the boots and keep the frames. I think that would be good. The catch is make sure that you get the small because there's two sizes of this frame. The large frame is like 290. It's like this long. It's super long. This is the small frame, and this came on a size 9. This is the frame that I recommend. The big frame is just way too long. Flat frames, Sola frames are probably the most popular for people riding flat. They're a little expensive. I think they're like $150 now for the frame. Totally worth it, but it's an investment. The nice thing about the Sola is they do have replacement H-blocks, so you can get an aluminum H-block, you can get a plastic H-block, get a 3D printed alumide H-block, you can design your own H block and get it 3D printed. There's plenty of options out there for Sola H blocks and Sola frames. But there is that initial investment of $150 or whatever to get that frame. It is a good frame though. So I haven't skated them. Again, I know a lot of people who have skated them and rave about them, and I see a lot of setup pics with them flat. A lot of people like Slimline's flat. I think the groove might be a little deep for Slimlines. A lot of people like Symmetrics, the Adapt frame company, Symmetrics. They like them flat. I think that's a good setup as well. I didn't really like my Symmetrics frames flat. I felt like the H block was a little tall. I don't know that that's necessary to be that tall, but again, I don't skate flat very much, so it's really hard for me. If I am skating flat, I'll skate a Wish frame. For me, that's my favorite flat setup. You should try the Wish, the medium Wish, if you can find them. I think the medium Wish took care of a lot of the problems that people had with the Wish, the original Wish. It's lower, it's shorter. The groove isn't as nice and forgiving as the Big Wish, but definitely worth a try if you can find them. Thomas Romeo, can you shout out Laura Morgan's husband, Donovan? Donovan, hi. That must be the name. I keep seeing Donovan showing up. I apologize. I don't see super good with my glasses, and the glare of the light messes with my glasses, so I don't wear glasses on here. But hi, Donovan. I hope you're enjoying the show. hope it's a good Wednesday night for you, or Thursday morning if you're in Australia. Never know. Donovan's kind of an Australian name, right? Could be. Blader, how about a light blue 50/50 frame for the white Them 909? I've seen a lot of them 50/50 setups. So first off, yes, I think a light blue frame would be great. I have a lot of color ideas. Colors don't sell super well, and with the industry being growing but small as it is, it's hard to sell through my minimums. So I have to sell about half of the frames in order to cover my costs, and I don't get to sell that many frames in a year. So I plan on doing one new color every year. Trust me that light blue is one of the colors on my list. I love the idea of a light blue. Maybe a little bit more of like a slate blue, maybe more of a electric blue than a light blue. Still would look amazing on the white 909s. I am not a fan of white skates. I tend to fall down a lot and get them dirty, and I like to keep my skates crisp. But I can see a lot of people loving those white frames, or those white 909s. We do make the John Fromm frame. Those would look really great with them. We do have the red frames and the yellow frames. Those would look great with them. We have more black frames coming. So I mentioned earlier that we have more frames coming. End of the month, the black frames are in production. They're wrapping up this week. We should have them in a week or two. All of your favorite skate shops should have them. I should have them. If you were waiting on black frames, we should have them soon. So black frames with that white boot is going to look pretty great too. But no colors yet. No colors for the rest of the year. One color a year. That's kind of my budget, just so that I can make sure that I can sell through them and I can afford to stay in business. But appreciate the support. Junglist 1987, love seeing you test skates. Hope to see as many possible with the help from the community. And a nice super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Again, all the super chats go to the Helmet Fund, so I appreciate that. Yeah, it's fun. I love reviewing skates. I know that I'm not going to be an amazing skater. I feel like I'm a good skater, good enough to know what skates are good and what skates aren't good. And I love skating. So if I can go out there and do my level of skating, I'm not jumping on rails or anything, but if I can capture that, show people that you can't have fun skating and not be a pro. You can't have fun skating and not hurt yourself doing crazy, hammers or anything. That is a market that I feel is underappreciated. And I think that I appreciate you. I know that I am that market, and I know there's a lot of us out there who just like to go out and skate. I love watching You know, any of the VODs. What was that one with Nils and Bobby? Got Game, I think. Love that VOD. That's the most recent VOD that I saw. Great. I love watching people at that level do amazing tricks. I know I'm never going to be at that level, and I'm cool with that. I just love to skate. So thank you again for the support. I do love the reviews. I love making videos, and you know, just cross 10K subs. I feel like I'm going to keep going until I get to 100, and then I can retire. I don't know when that's going to be. Maybe another 5 years, but I will do it until my knees fall off. Joshua, throw an SL boot on there. Oh, on the scale? I don't have one without the frame on. But an SL is pretty light. SL is very light. They're one of the lighter skates. The M12 and the SL are right up there. The 7 is also right up there. Oh, it's going. It's been an hour and 30 minutes. I might have to cut it short, everyone, because I'm running out of water and my throat's starting to hurt. Carlos Diamante, what do you think of the new MyFit AeroFit liners? I haven't seen them. I don't know those liners yet. I'll have to look into that. I don't know about that, but I will look into it. Terrorize, what about some hats and beanies for merch? Great idea. I don't wear hats, but I know that a lot of people do. I will add them to the designs. Thank you for the idea. Andrew Winkelmeyer, Speedos. I do not wear Speedos. I don't know that there's a market for Speedos, but I will look into it. I am very behind on comments and chat. I apologize. I'm not going to be able to get through everything. A lot of great questions, and I apologize. Austin asks, hey Austin, I need a new liner for my 909s. What do you recommend besides Intuitions? Well, if you haven't seen the video, you know that I am not a huge fan of the Intuition. I feel like the Intuition that came in the 909 for me doesn't fit my foot. And that is unfortunate. The 909, the medium 909 is bigger than the 908. So I assumed that the liner was going to be bigger. It wasn't. So I got the Intuitions. The Intuition's actually smaller than the stock 908 liner was. And that sucks. You know, I thought that I was going to be able to love these 908, 909s. I didn't. What I ended up doing, I don't have my 909s here, but I have the liners. I did end up getting, oh no, where'd they go? I lost them. I have so many things on the ground right now. Here they are. Ugh. I got the Razors, the Rain V3s. These are good liners. So would I recommend them? You know, if you're upgrading your 909s, if you don't want Intuitions, I would definitely recommend them. They're a great liner to try out. They have padding in all the right places. It's a thin liner, so it's not going to add too much padding to it. I know there are a lot of liners out there that are like super padded, like the crown liners from MyFit. This is not that liner. This is a very thin liner, but it feels like it's a very quality liner. Feels like it's going to last for a long time, and the material isn't going to wear. It does have the neoprene toe, so you can actually downsize a little bit in this liner and get a really nice snug fit. These are a size 43. Typically I would wear a 44, but I got a 43 so that I would have a more snug fit in my ankles and in the sides of my foot. But because of this neoprene liner, my toes can stick out a little bit more and it makes it feel nice and snug. They fit perfectly in the 909s. I haven't had any problems. They're a little bit longer than the stock 909 liner, which is interesting. And I think they run about 80, 90 bucks. If you can find them, of course. I mean, COVID is a little bit of a weird time to find this stuff, but I recommend these. I think these are the best liners, the best aftermarket liners out there. I've tried a suite of the MyFit liners. I haven't tried the, what are they called? There's like, they're there's second skins, and then there's the other one that I can't remember. I've heard that the second skins are pretty good. They're kind of similar to this. The other one, the name escapes me. But they've got a whole bunch of different liners on the MyFit line. Second skins are probably what I would recommend if you wanted to stay with MyFit, if you didn't want to go the Sunshine route. But if you're good with that, I think the Rain V3s are the liner to get. A lot of people love the Rain V3s. This is just, for what it is, for an $80, $90 liner, you really can't beat it. It's going to have all of the functionality that you need, all the comfort that you need, and nothing that you don't. And yeah, I do think the Intuitions are great. They just didn't fit me. So if they came out with an Intuition that fit me, I would love to try it. I don't know what they're going to feel like. I have, it's hard to review a liner that doesn't fit you, you know? And then the liner that was bigger, like the large, I think it started bigger than where my foot was, and it went all the way up to like 29.2 or something like that, which would have been like, I've just been floating in there. So I really didn't have a Them Intuition to try. But I mean, it's a $200 liner. It's like, I feel bad not skating it all the time. Anyway, thanks for watching, and thanks for asking a good question. Chris Pauly, any tips on learning slides like all the cool kids? Well, I can only assume you're talking about me. Slides, this is the last question because my voice is going away. For aggressive skaters, slides are usually a mystery. So, these are the Flying Eagle F7 with the supersonic frames. These are a 110. These are my favorite big wheel skates right now. They are light, they are fast. Full disclosure, they did send these to me for review. I probably wouldn't have bought these if they didn't send them as a review, but I can recommend them because they are good skates. But I would probably have stuck with my Powerside Imperials because I don't buy skates all that often. I do feel like these are a great skate though, so if you're in the market for a big wheel skate, I think Flying Eagle makes a really good one. Anyway, if you're talking about slides, so the way that I do slides is it's really like an exaggerated wide stance pivot. So if you imagine, it's not, what's weird is coming from an aggressive mind, it's not a front side, it's not a UFO, it's not a cess slide, it's something different. It is a turn with your ankle as wide as you can until your wheels start to kick out. So when I'm doing a slide, I'm coming up this way, I start slowly stretching my feet out like this. Like I picture my knees kind of like hip length apart, like shoulder length apart. But then I try to really bow out my feet and get it almost like I'm doing a UFO on the ground so that I'm really riding on the edge of these wheels. The wheel profile has a lot to do with being able to do good slides. The pointier your wheels, the easier it'll be to slide. So I push them out on the sides, and then it's really an exaggerated turn and a compensate, kind of like a coil theory sort of twist. Turn your body, and when you turn, you're doing an exaggerated, like, I don't know, turn. And as you do that, you push out with your heel, and it will start to slide a little bit. And that is the same feeling. So that's a magic slide. When you're doing like a UFO, like a front side, you do a magic slide. If you're doing a parallel slide, like a Royale or like a hockey stop, that's a parallel slide. Parallel slide is more difficult because you really got to trust that outside edge. Instead of going like this, you're going like this. And that can be scary because you'll slip out. And you slip out a lot. People don't do parallel slides very often unless it's like to show, like a trick. If you're maintaining your speed, they do a magic slide. If you watch downhill skaters, they do magic slides. They'll just like stand here and they'll slide and they'll course correct. Kind of like a skateboarder who kicks out their tail a little bit and like, I don't know what that trick is called. on a skateboard, but you kind of slide a little bit. That is how a downhiller maintains their speed. So it's staying on your inside edge, pushing out a little bit more exaggerated, and it's in the hips. You got to move your feet and really round it out, pushing out with your front foot. It is a really weird feeling coming from an aggressive background, but once you get it, you can magic slide on anything. And it is extremely fun when you're going really fast to just do a magic slide and you hear that goose honking sound. It's such a fun feeling. I think everybody should try it. It is easier with big wheels. I think 80s are probably as low as I would go to do magic slides. I have done them in 72s. I've never tried them in aggressive skates, but I feel like I would hit my sole plate before I start sliding. And, I would turn into a cess slide, and I don't want to do that. Definitely worth trying, though. Get yourself some bullet profile wheels. Get yourself a nice, even area. You got to have some speed. You got to have some commitment. You can't just go out there and say, I'm going to slide and just kind of take it easy. If you're not skating fast, you won't be able to slide. So it is a controlled loss of grip. The nice thing about the magic slide is as you lose your grip, you've got your back foot to balance it out. Parallel slide, you don't have any feet because both feet are sliding. You don't have anything to balance you out. So magic slide, definitely the first one to try. You can warm yourself up by doing a power slide, which is just the front foot and then the back foot is kind of like trailing behind you, kind of like a Mizu. If you're doing like a alley-oop Mizu, that's what a power slide looks like. That's probably the easiest way to do it. And that, again, you keep your foot, you kick it out, you push it out, and while you push out, you open up your hip, and you end up kind of going backwards. All basics of skating. If you were a recreational skater, you would have learned most of these a long time ago. Because we grew up doing aggressive and jumping on handrails and ledges, we never had a chance to learn how to skate properly. I love that I'm learning how to skate properly after skating for 20 years. There's so much to learn. There's so much that I didn't know about skating. And it makes me a better skater. Like when I go to the skate park now, I feel like my balance is better. I feel like my stride is better. My pump is better. All of my edge control is better because I do big wheel skating, because I've learned how to do double push and slides and stuff like that. Really cool question. I need to do some tutorials. I know that there are so many out there. Like Lino does great tutorials. Sean does great tutorials. Brandon does great tutorials. I don't need to flood that space, but I feel like there's a lot of questions out there that I might have a different perspective about teaching. I just need to find some time. All right, I'm going to cut it. It's been an hour and 45 minutes. I love all of you. I hope that you're all being safe out there. I hope that you all have a chance to go out and skate this weekend. I don't know what the weather is like where you are, but it should be nice and sunny here. It is a perfect weekend to go out and skate. Put your big wheels on if you don't have a skate park, if you don't want to get near people. Get your big wheels on. Maybe bring a mask. Not your mom, but I'm just saying it might be nice to protect others. If you're going to be in a crowded area, definitely wear a mask. Definitely watch touching your face. Make sure that you keep your hands clean. And just think about other people. Be safe out there. We got to get through this together. It hasn't been a good week for those cases coming in. So hope everybody has a great week. Hope everybody is safe, healthy. Thank you all so much for watching. And I will see you in 2 weeks.